The $50 million CEO froze. Four identical faces stared back at him. The same emerald eyes, the same delicate features he'd banished from his life 10 years ago. Marcus Blackwood built his empire on ruthless decisions, crushing anyone who stood in his way. But when he spots four 9-year-old girls begging outside his luxury hotel in downtown Chicago, his blood turns to ice. They look exactly like Elena, the woman he destroyed and cast out a decade ago. Four faces that shouldn't exist. Four secrets that could shatter everything he's built. What happens when the past refuses to stay buried? You're about to find out, and trust me, you won't see this ending coming. Elena Martinez wipes sweat from her forehead as she scrubs the marble floors of Chicago's most exclusive office building. It's 4 a.m. and the city sleeps while she works her first job of the day. At 28, she looks older, exhaustion etched into every line of her face. Her hands are raw from chemicals, her back aches from bending over toilets and sinks, but she never stops moving. She can't afford to. 3 jobs keep her barely afloat. After cleaning offices until dawn, she'll rush to her cashier shift at the grocery store in Little Village, then spend evenings sewing alterations for a local tailor. Every dollar she earns goes toward one goal: bringing her 4 daughters home from Mexico. The girls live with their dying grandmother in a border town slum, sharing one mattress on a dirt floor. Sofia, Isabella, Catalina, and Esperanza, her beautiful quadruplets who eat rice and beans daily while walking 3 miles to school in worn-out shoes. Elena hasn't seen them in 2 years. She can't afford the trip, can't risk the visa complications, can't do anything but send money and pray. Elena keeps their photo taped inside her cleaning cart, 4 angelic faces with emerald eyes and dark curls. Sometimes the wealthy executives step over her as she works, never seeing the woman whose heart breaks a little more each day. She's invisible to them, just another immigrant woman scrubbing their floors while they discuss million-dollar deals above her head. But tonight everything changes. Elena's phone buzzes with a call that shatters her world. Grandmother Maria has collapsed. Diabetes complications. Emergency surgery needed immediately, $15,000. Elena stares at her bank balance, $47. $47 between her daughters and foster care. What would you do if you had less than $50 and your children's lives hung in the balance? Elena's about to discover just how far desperation can push someone. The loan sharks want 200% interest. The hospitals won't operate without payment up front. Elena falls to her knees in that empty office building, sobbing into hands that smell like bleach and broken dreams. Her daughters will be separated, placed with strangers, lost to her forever. That's when Marcus Blackwood steps out of the shadows. At 35, Marcus commands Chicago's luxury hotel empire like a king surveying his domain. Blackwood Luxury Hotels, 50 properties, $500 million in annual revenue, built through hostile takeovers and ruthless business tactics. He's known for destroying competitors without mercy, for turning rivals into cautionary tales. The business world fears him. The social elite court him. But tonight, watching Elena from his corner office window, he remembers what it felt like to be human. 10 years ago they were teenagers in love. Marcus was the scholarship kid from the wrong side of town, Elena the sweet girl who saw past his anger and ambition. Then she got pregnant and his world exploded. His family delivered an ultimatum: abandon Elena or lose everything. They threatened to destroy her mother, have Elena deported, ruin any chance she had at a decent life. Marcus was 18 and terrified. He thought he was protecting her by walking away. Instead, he spent 10 years building walls around his heart, convincing himself she was better off without him. Now she's here, broken and desperate, and old wounds rip open like they never healed at all. Marcus corners Elena in the empty parking garage at midnight. She doesn't see him coming, too exhausted, too defeated to notice the shadows moving. When he steps into the light, her face goes white as bone. "I know about your sick mother," he says, his voice carefully controlled. "Your 4 daughters." Elena's hands tremble. How does he know? She hasn't spoken his name in 10 years, hasn't told a soul about their past. But Marcus Blackwood knows everything. He's made it his business to know. Her address, her jobs, her family's situation. He's been watching from afar for months, telling himself it's just business intelligence while gathering every detail of her struggle. "I have a business proposition," Marcus continues, his tone shifting to something more professional. "Your family needs immediate medical intervention. I need someone I can trust for a sensitive corporate project. Here's his offer, and I need you to really think about this. Elena will oversee the launch of his new immigrant services program, a legitimate $50 million initiative to help families navigate business and legal systems in America. She'll earn $200,000 annually, receive full medical coverage for her family, and her daughters can immigrate immediately under the company's skilled worker visa program. But there's a catch that makes your skin crawl. The program is Marcus's pet project, which means Elena reports directly to him. She'll attend every meeting, every gala, every social function at his side. She'll live in the corporate housing he provides, a luxury apartment in his building. She'll be constantly in his presence, a living reminder of everything he lost. Marcus tells himself this is business. Elena represents the immigrant families his company will serve. Who better to lead the program? But deep down he knows the truth. He wants her close. He wants to prove to himself that seeing her daily won't affect him, that he's moved past their teenage romance. He wants to show her, and himself, how successful he's become without her. The contract is professional but suffocating. Elena will have autonomy in program management but must attend all events as Marcus's program director. She'll live in his building but in her own apartment. It's not personal assistance, it's corporate representation that requires constant proximity to the man who abandoned her. What kind of man offers salvation wrapped in emotional torture? Elena stares at the contract, knowing she has no choice. Her daughters need surgery within 48 hours, or they'll lose their grandmother and end up in foster care. Sometimes the devil's bargain is the only bargain available, even when it comes disguised as a legitimate business opportunity. Elena's hands shake as she signs. Marcus watches with satisfaction that doesn't quite hide deeper pain. "Welcome to Blackwood Industries, Ms. Martinez," he says formally. "I look forward to working together." She whispers through tears, "I'll do whatever it takes for my daughters." But Marcus has no idea what he's just set in motion. Neither does Elena. Because 4 little girls are about to change everything. The next morning, Elena moves into her new apartment, a stunning 2-bedroom unit on the 40th floor of Marcus's building. Everything screams wealth: granite countertops, hardwood floors, a view of Lake Michigan that takes her breath away. It's more luxury than she's ever experienced, but it feels like a beautiful prison when your boss lives 3 floors above and controls every aspect of your new life. Marcus maintains professional distance during business hours, but Elena feels his eyes on her constantly. At board meetings he introduces her as Ms. Martinez, our new Director of Immigrant Services, but something in his tone suggests ownership. At corporate dinners he seats her beside him, ostensibly for program discussions, but the tension between them makes everyone uncomfortable. Elena throws herself into the work because it's real, important, and gives her purpose beyond just survival. She develops language programs, legal aid clinics, job placement services. For the first time in years she's using her mind instead of just her hands. But every success comes with Marcus's watchful presence, his subtle reminders that her position depends entirely on his goodwill. Then the daughters arrive and everything shifts. 4 identical faces step off Marcus's corporate jet at Chicago Executive Airport. Sophia, Isabella, Catalina, and Esperanza, 9 years old and wide-eyed with wonder. They haven't seen their mother in 2 years, barely recognize this woman in business clothes living in a palace. But they sense something immediately. Children always do. Marcus arranged their immigration personally, expediting visas through corporate connections. He tells himself it's good business. Happy employees are productive employees. But watching Elena reunite with her daughters, seeing her sob with relief and joy, something cracks inside his carefully constructed walls. The girls adore their new life. They attend a prestigious private school, take art lessons, have their own bedrooms for the first time ever. But they're not stupid. They notice how their mother tenses when Mr. Marcus enters a room. They see the careful way Elena speaks to him, like she's walking on glass. Sophia, the eldest by 3 minutes and the most observant, asks the question that cuts through everything. "Mama, why do you look scared when the man talks to you? What would you tell your daughter if you couldn't tell her the truth?" Elena forces a smile that doesn't reach her eyes. "He's just my boss, Mija. I want to do good work." But children see what adults try to hide. The girls notice disturbing similarities they can't explain. Isabella points out, "Mama, we have his eyes." Catalina stares at Marcus's family photos in the corporate lobby, asking, "Why do we look like the boy in the old pictures?" The truth Elena's hidden for 10 years threatens to surface with every innocent question. Meanwhile, Marcus struggles with his own demons. Being near Elena daily is harder than he expected. He watches her brilliant mind tackle complex problems, sees her gentle patience with confused clients, witnesses her fierce love for her daughters. She's not the helpless teenager he left behind, she's become an extraordinary woman, and he's falling for her all over again. But pride and 10 years of built-up hurt make him cruel in small ways. He schedules weekend meetings that cut into her time with the girls. He brings dates to corporate functions, watching Elena's face for reactions. He assigns her to work with his mother's charity board, knowing it will be uncomfortable. These aren't dramatic humiliations, they're death by 1,000 small cuts. Professional slights disguised as business decisions. Each one chips away at Elena's confidence while Marcus tells himself he's just maintaining appropriate boundaries. The quadruplets develop their own communication system, looks and whispers that bypass adult understanding. Esperanza, the most observant, starts connecting dots that adults work hard to hide. She finds old newspaper clippings about the Blackwood family, discovers Elena's maiden name on corporate documents from their early dating years. Then Marcus's business rival, Victor Steinberg, recognizes Elena at a charity gala. "Marcus Blackwood's baby mama," he says loud enough for others to hear. "I heard that was quite the scandal back in the day." Marcus realizes his plan has backfired spectacularly. Instead of proving he's moved past Elena, he's created a situation where their history becomes public gossip. Elena becomes a liability he can't control, and the girls become questions he can't answer. What do you think happens when the past collides with the present at 100 miles per hour? You're about to find out because the next twist will leave you breathless. Victoria Blackwood arrives unannounced on a Tuesday morning, sweeping into the corporate offices like a hurricane in Chanel. Marcus's mother, the woman who orchestrated Elena's exile 10 years ago, sees Elena in the conference room and nearly drops her Hermes bag. Her face turns white as marble. What is that woman doing here? Victoria demands of her son in his private office. That's when Elena learns the truth that shatters everything. Listening from the hallway as mother and son argue, she discovers that Marcus's family paid her mother $50,000 to disappear, telling Maria they'd destroy everyone she loved if Elena stayed. Her mother never told her, used the money for medical bills, letting Elena believe Marcus abandoned her voluntarily. 10 years of thinking she meant nothing to him. 10 years of believing he chose money over love. All lies, manipulation, control. The pain crashes over Elena like a tidal wave, but now she understands the complex emotions in Marcus's eyes, the way he watches her like he's fighting himself. But the daughters overhear everything. Sophia hides behind the reception desk during Victoria's visit, listening as the truth explodes. She hears Victoria say, "Those children are Blackwood heirs, they threaten everything we've built. Send them back to Mexico before this becomes a bigger scandal." Sophia runs to tell her sisters in rapid Spanish, "La señora mala quiere mandarnos de vuelta. The mean lady wants to send us back. Why el señor Marcus alias nuestro papa, and Mr. Marcus, he's our father." 4 little hearts break as they realize their mother's pain, their father's confusion, their grandmother Victoria's hatred. These children, mature beyond their years from hardship, decide to protect their mother the only way they know how. They plan to disappear. Picture this: 4 9-year-old girls writing a goodbye note with careful printing. "Dear Mama, we heard what the mean lady said. We don't want to cause you more problems. We'll find our way back to Abuela Maria so you can be happy with your job. Don't worry about us. We love you forever." They don't plan to run to Mexico, they're too smart for that. Instead, they decide to hide in Chicago until the scandal dies down, living on the streets like they did before, taking care of each other the way they always have. On a night when thunderstorms rage over Chicago, they sneak out at midnight. Elena discovers them missing at 6 a.m. when she goes to wake them for school. Finds the heartbreaking note on Sophia's pillow. Realizes her daughters overheard everything, blame themselves for adult complications they never asked to be part of. She collapses, sobbing, clutching the note that breaks her heart into a million pieces. She confronts Marcus in his office, bursting through security and corporate protocol. "They're gone," she screams, waving the note. "They think they're causing me problems. They're trying to protect me from your mother." Something breaks inside Marcus then. The cold CEO mask cracks completely. He sees what his complicated revenge has cost, not just Elena but 4 innocent children who never asked to be born into this mess. The search through storm-soaked Chicago becomes a desperate race against time. Marcus mobilizes every resource: private investigators, police contacts, his entire security team. But it's Elena who spots them first, huddled under Lower Wacker Drive, trying to stay dry while sharing the single sandwich they managed to buy. The accident happens because they're scared. When Sophia sees the police cars and security teams, she thinks they're in trouble. She grabs her sister's hands and runs toward the river, trying to find another hiding place. But the storm has made everything slippery, dangerous. Sophia slips on the muddy embankment and falls toward the rushing water. Her sisters don't hesitate. They jump after her, for little girls who can barely swim, fighting Chicago River currents to save each other. When paramedics pull them out, all four are unconscious, hypothermic, barely breathing. Elena screams as they work frantically over tiny bodies. Marcus holds her as she breaks apart completely. "I can't lose them," she sobs. "They're everything I have left." For the first time in 10 years, Marcus and Elena are united in purpose, praying for their daughters' lives while facing the truth about what really matters. What do you think happens next? Can love conquer 10 years of pride and pain? The answer might surprise you. In the ICU waiting room, with their daughters fighting for life behind sterile doors, truth finally explodes between them. But it doesn't come easy. Marcus's walls don't crumble in one moment. They crack slowly, painfully, like ice breaking apart. "I never wanted to leave you," he confesses, his voice barely audible. "They threatened to destroy your mother, have you deported. I was 18 and scared out of my mind." Elena learns about his family's threats, the manipulation, the impossible choice he faced. But she's still angry, still hurt. "You could have told me," she whispers. "We could have faced it together." "I thought I was protecting you," Marcus says, and for the first time, she hears the broken boy beneath the businessman. "Instead, I've been punishing both of us for 10 years. Their daughters wake up slowly, one by one. First Esperanza, then Catalina, then Isabella. But Sophia, who hit her head when she fell, remains unconscious for 3 terrifying days. During those 72 hours, Marcus doesn't leave the hospital. He sleeps in waiting room chairs, brings Elena coffee, reads to the other girls when they're scared. It's not a dramatic transformation. It's exhausted parents taking turns staying strong, sharing the worst fear any parent can face. Elena sees glimpses of the boy she loved, the one who used to stay up all night when she was worried about exams. Marcus sees the woman Elena became, strong, fierce, unbroken despite everything. When Sophia finally opens her eyes and whispers "Papa" to Marcus, he breaks down completely. Not the controlled emotion of a CEO, but ugly crying that comes from 10 years of buried grief. But recovery is slow. Trust doesn't rebuild overnight. Marcus starts with small changes. He moves Elena and the girls to a house in Lincoln Park, their own space, away from his building and constant oversight. He hires the best tutors for the girls, but more importantly, he shows up to their school plays, their soccer games, their parent-teacher conferences. The business changes too, but gradually. Marcus implements family-friendly policies across all his companies. He creates a real immigrant services program, not just the one designed to keep Elena close. But he doesn't make himself the hero of these changes. He works quietly, letting Elena lead while he learns to follow. The girls warm to him slowly. Isabella teaches him Spanish while he helps with her math homework. Catalina shows him her drawings, most of which feature a tall man with sad eyes learning to smile. Esperanza, ever practical, announces that Papa needs to learn how to braid hair if he wants to be a real dad. Marcus takes that advice seriously. He learns to braid hair, pack school lunches, and navigate the complex social dynamics of 9-year-old girls. He makes mistakes, lots of them, but he keeps showing up. The hardest part is Victoria. Marcus's mother wages a quiet war against Elena and the girls, spreading rumors in social circles, trying to influence board members to question Marcus's judgment. She represents everything toxic about wealth and power, everything that destroyed their family the first time. But this time Marcus chooses differently. At the annual board meeting with Chicago's business elite watching, he addresses the elephant in the room. 10 years ago, I made choices based on fear, he tells the assembled shareholders. I let others dictate my personal life because I was afraid of losing my position in this company. I lost the most important thing in my life because I chose money over love. He announces his mother's retirement from the board, effective immediately. He transfers significant company shares to Elena, making her not just an employee but a stakeholder. He establishes a family foundation focused on reuniting immigrant families, with Elena as executive director. Victoria's response is swift and vicious. She tries to challenge Marcus's decisions legally, threatens to expose family scandals to the press. But her power came from fear and secrets, and Marcus is done with both. The press attention is intense but ultimately favorable. The story of the CEO who found his lost family becomes a redemption narrative that resonates with people tired of corporate callousness. Blackwood Industries stock actually rises as investors appreciate the company's new focus on social responsibility. But the real changes happen in quiet moments. Marcus learning to read bedtime stories with different voices for each character. Elena trusting him enough to fall asleep on his shoulder during long hospital stays when Abuela Maria needs more surgery. The girls drawing pictures of their family that finally include everyone. Do you believe in second chances? In love that survives despite everything trying to destroy it? It takes a full year for the trust to rebuild completely. There are setbacks. Moments when Elena pulls back, scared of being hurt again. Times when Marcus reverts to controlling behavior before catching himself. The girls have nightmares about being sent away, need constant reassurance that they're safe. But love wins slowly, steadily, like water wearing down stone. 2 years after that night in the ICU, Elena and Marcus work side by side in their foundation office. The quadruplets burst in after school, chattering about art class and soccer practice and the new family they're helping whose father was detained at the border. "Papa," Catalina announces, "we drew you a picture of our family." She holds up artwork showing 7 figures holding hands. Elena, Marcus, 4 girls and Abuela Maria, who now lives in a beautiful apartment near the lake. Everyone is smiling. Everyone belongs. Marcus catches Elena's eye and smiles, not the cold CO mask from before, but something warm and real and earned through years of proving himself worthy of their love. 4 little girls who once lived in poverty now help other families find hope. Their parents who once broke each other's hearts now heal together, slowly and carefully, building something stronger than what they had before. Sometimes the greatest love stories aren't about first chances. They're about last chances that become new beginnings. They're about people who love each other enough to do the hard work of forgiveness, who choose to rebuild rather than just remember. What do you think happens next? Have Marcus and Elena earned their happily ever after? Do their daughters deserve the stability they've found? Share your thoughts below and let me know if you believe that some loves are worth fighting for no matter how long it takes. Type hope if you think this family found exactly what they were meant to be. And don't forget to subscribe for more stories that prove miracles happen when we choose love over fear, when we're brave enough to heal instead of just hurt. Because sometimes the broken pieces create the most beautiful picture when they're put back together with enough patience, forgiveness, and faith in second chances.